Hello, lesson 7.4 is applications of linear equations. So make sure you title your paper. This is going to be a little bit different of a lesson because it's story problems. So you'll have 3 story problems, and I just want you to copy down the problem and how I solve it. So we have done 3 different ways for solving linear systems. We have graphed them and find where they intersect. We have used substitution. And we have done elimination. So you should be using those 3 when you solve story problems. So here's the first one. A metal worker has some ingots of metal alloy that are 20% copper and others that are 60% copper. How many kilograms of each type of ingot should the metal worker combine to create 80 kilograms of a 52% copper alloy? So you are going to let G be the 20% because he has some that are 20 and some that are 60. And then you're going to let H be the 60. So what they did is they said, okay, if I add the 2 together, I want it to be 80. And then if I have 20% of G and 60% of H, I want 52% of the 80 kilograms. So you're going to take these 2 equations and you're going to solve them. So first, choose one of the equations and solve for a variable. So they chose the easy one, G plus H equals 80. So then they found out that G is this. So they are going to use substitution. Then they're going to put that in to G. So they did 0.2 times this, 80 minus H, plus 0.6H equals 0.52 times 80. And they solved this. And then they found that H is 64. And then if you do 80 minus 64, you know that G is 16. So to make 80 kilograms of 52% copper alloy, you need 16 kilograms of the 20%. And 64 of the 60%. So here's another problem. Suppose a model airplane club publishes a newsletter. Expenses are 90 cents for printing and mailing each copy, plus $600 total for the research and the writing. The price of the newsletter is $1.50 per copy. How many copies of the newsletter must the club sell to break even? So you're going to have 2 equations. So my first equation is going to be the 90 cents for printing and mailing. So 90 cents, 0.90 times X plus 600 total, okay, would be your Y. And they did that right here. Then you're going to have another equation for when they're selling them. This is for when they're making them. And then when they're selling them, they're $1.50 a copy. So Y equals $1.50X. So this is a very good equation because you need to know, I don't want to lose money on this, so I need to know how many I need to sell so that I get all my money back. So what they did is they used substitution and they put in $1.50 for Y, $1.50X for Y, and then solved this equation. And they got X equals 1,000. To break even, the Model Airplane Club must sell 1,000 copies of their newsletter. So, suppose an antique car club publishes a newsletter. Expenses are 35 cents for printing and mailing each copy, plus $7.70 total for research. The price of the newsletter is 55 cents per copy. How many copies must they sell to break even? So try this problem. Okay, so first I have Y equals 35 cents for printing and mailing plus $7.70 total for the research and writing. So that's my first equation. And then my second equation is my sales. Y equals 55 cents per copy. So I'm going to set these 2 equal to each other because they both equal Y. So I'm going to put this piece in for Y. So that's 0.55X equals 0.35X plus 770. I'm going to minus 0.35x from both sides. So then I get 0.20x equals 770. And then I'm going to divide by 0.2. So 770 divided by 0.2. So x equals 3,850 newsletters. So that would obviously be something that they would mail out to like people all over the world. So 3,850. So in lesson 3.6, you modeled rate, time, and distance problems. So you remember this, D equals RT. Distance equals rate times time. We've done numerous problems with this equation. You can also model rate, time, and distance problem using two variables. The steady west to east winds across the United States act as tailwinds for planes traveling from the west to the east. The tailwinds increase a plane's ground speed. For planes traveling east to west, the headwinds decrease a ground speed. So if you look at this, if you're going from the west to the east, so if you're starting over in California and you're going to New York, your airspeed plus your wind speed equals your ground speed. So here's the equation. If you're going from east to west, so from New York this way, your airspeed minus your wind speed equals your ground speed. So it's like if you're going with the wind or if you're going against the wind. We all know it's easier to walk with the wind as at our back than when it's at your face. So, suppose you fly from Miami, Florida to San Francisco, California. It takes 6.5 hours to fly 2,600 miles against a headwind. At the same time, your friend flies from San Francisco to Miami. So your friend's going the other way. You're going to San Francisco, your friend's going to Miami. Her plane travels at the same average airspeed, but her flight only takes 5.2 hours. Find the average airspeed of the planes. So, what you need to do is you need to look at the two separate equations, and you're going to have to fill in these. So airspeed plus wind speed equals ground speed, and airspeed minus wind speed equals ground speed. So they have air plus wind times time equals 2,600. So this is for your friend because it took her 5.2 hours. And then air minus wind speed times time equals 26 because they both traveled the same distance. They're both going 2,600. Just at it took different amount of times. So then what they're going to do to solve these two is use elimination. So eliminate W because one's plus W and one's minus W. What they did is they distributed and then solved for just having an A and just having a W. So they really divided both sides by 5.2, not distributed. Divided by 5.2 and divide by 6.5. So then the 5.2's cancel out and the 6.5's cancel out, and that's where they get the 500 and the 400, is because 2,600 divided by 5.2 is 500, and 2,600 divided by 6.5 is 400. So then you get 2A equals 900, so A equals 450. So then you can put that in, and the average airspeed of the planes is 450 miles per hour. The wind speed is 50 miles per hour. All right, that is it for your notes.